this is what we have today. It is Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano. This was yesterday, it came on out. Dresses down Vatican over global confab with Chelsea Clinton, Dr. Fauci, Jane Goodall, and other heretics. Only 2 clergy speakers in 114 listed. So here, I'm going to read it to you. First of all, look at this. Look at this. This is official.
It's blasphemous.
Blasphemous. That's why I put it on up the,
I mean, think about what that's even saying. Because that signifies the connection of man and God, right? Isn't the painting is
it's God and Adam.
Exactly, but that's, our beginning and our connection to, and God is touching, right? And they're putting gloves on there. So think about what that's subliminally saying.
Absolutely. And it says the 5th International Vatican Conference exploring the mind, body, and soul unite to prevent and to unite to cure. Now here's the letter. It'll take maybe about 5 to 8 minutes or something like that. But either way, here we go. This is from Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, who's become quite a pariah, but at the same time a hero by a lot of people, especially Catholics who understand what's been done to the church itself. But May 6th to 8th, 2021, the 5th International Vatican Conference will take place, entitled Exploring the Mind, Body, and Soul, Unite to Prevent and Unite to Cure, a global healthcare initiative, how innovation and novel delivery systems improve human health. The event is being hosted by the Pontifical Council for Culture, the Cura Foundation, the Science and Faith Foundation, and STEM for Life. Michael Haynes of LifeSite News has reported here on the topics to be addressed and the participants, including the infamous Anthony Fauci, whose scandalous conflicts of interest did not prevent him from taking over the management of the pandemic in the United States, Chelsea Clinton, a follower of the Church of Satan and a staunch abortion advocate, the New Age guru Deepak Chopra, Dame Jane Goodall, environmentalist and chimpanzee expert, and CEO of Pfizer and Moderna, representatives of big tech, and a whole slew of abortionists, Malthusians, and globalists known to the general public. The conference has recruited 5 prominent journalists to be moderators who are exclusively from left-wing media outlets such as CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and Forbes. The conference, along with the Council for Inclusive Capitalism, for Inclusive Capitalism of Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, the Global Compact on Education, and the Interreligious Pantheon, to be held in June in Astana, Kazakhstan, is the umpteenth scandalous confirmation of a disturbing departure of the current hierarchy, and in particular its highest Roman members from Catholic Orthodoxy. The Holy See has deliberately renounced the supernatural mission of the Church, making itself the servant of the New World Order and Masonic globalism in an anti-Christic counter-magisterium. That is not the big statements made, though, on the Antichrist. There's more to come. The same Roman dicasteries, occupied by people ideologically aligned with Jorge Mario Bergoglio, always calls him by his name, and protected and promoted by him, now continue unrestrained in their implacable work to demolishing faith, morals, and ecclesiastical discipline and monastic and religious life in an effort as vain as it is unprecedented to transform the bride of Christ into a philanthropic association enslaved to the strong powers. The result is a superimposition over the true church of a sect of heretical and depraved modernists who are intent on legitimizing adultery, sodomy, abortion, euthanasia, idolatry, and any perversion of the intellect and will. The true church is now eclipsed, denied, discredited by her very pastors, betrayed even by the ones who occupies the highest throne. Man, he's a he knows how to write very well. The fact that the deep church has managed to elect its own member so as to carry out its infernal plan in agreement with the deep state is no longer a mere suspicion but a phenomenon which it is now essential to ask questions about and shed light on. The submission of the Cathedra Veritatis to the interests of the Masonic elite is manifesting itself in all its evidence in the deafening silence of the sacred pastors and the bewilderment of the people of God who have been abandoned to themselves. Now, it goes on to talk about the supporters of abortion, the use of fetal material in research, which we talked about tonight, just genetics in general, of the demographic design of the pansexual LGBT agenda, and the last but not least, the narrative of COVID and so-called vaccines. Now, let me get on down to the Antichrist here. Where do we have here? And then, of course, over here, the Vatican Conference are made by evidence. Topic addresses conclusions to draw participants, blah, blah, blah. It even talks about the up close of the Michelangelo's fresco of the creation of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, in which the hand of God the Father reaches out toward the hand of Adam, but with both hands covered by disposable surgical gloves, recalling the regulations of the new health liturgy and implying that even the Lord himself might spread the virus.
Right. That's what exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, in this sacrilegious representation, the order of creation is subverted into a therapeutic anti-creation in which man saves himself and becomes the mad author of his own health redemption. Instead of the purifying laver of a baptism, the COVID religion proposes the vaccine, the bearer of disabilities and death, and the only means of salvation. Instead of faith in the revelation of God, we find superstition and the irrational assent to precepts that have nothing scientific about them, with rites and liturgies that mimic true religion in a sacrilegious parody. Wow. We talked about that, the parallels of how religious all this stuff really is. They've got their mantras, they've got their days of observation, they've got martyrs, they've got saints, they've got so much.
When is this happening again?
This is in May. The first week in May. And they said,
Beltane?
What'd you say?
Beltane? Isn't that the holiday?
I don't know. They said
it's their high. It's one of their high.
May 6th to 8th. They said.
Yeah, it coincides with certain days that they do certain things.
Yeah. Now here it is right there. We'll get down to the meat and potatoes. It's right over here, the second to last paragraph. Our Lady warned us, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. It will not only be the Holy Church, indefectible by the promises of Christ, that will lose the faith. It will be the sect that occupies the see of most blessed Peter. Okay, and then we're talking about the Pope now. And which today we see propagating the anti-gospel of the New World Order. It is no longer possible to remain silent, because today our silence would make us accomplices of the enemies of God and of the human race. Millions of faithful are disgusted by our countless scandals of the pastors, by the betrayal of their mission, by the desertion of those who by holy orders are called to bear witness to the holy gospel and not to support the establishment of the kingdom of the Antichrist. I mean, there's very few other ways.
Yeah.
Very few other ways you can get around to saying that.
Well, thankfully, he is. And it's such a bizarre, and that we've really degraded so far that they can even do something like that.
Indeed.
Right out there in the open. But I suppose that's the time we're living in.
Well, we got
the great reveal, the great unveiling. So it's being unveiled right there. So I'm glad there's at least somebody like him that can, say, hey, because with some people at least he'll have some credibility. With us, we don't have credibility because we sound like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Even though he's right,
yeah,
but that's but at least this guy has credit. He'll carry credibility with certain people, some people.
È necessario e urgente un sistema economico giusto, affidabile e in grado di rispondere alle sfide più radicali che l'umanità e il pianeta si trovano ad affrontare.
We are answering Pope Francis's challenge to create more inclusive economies that spread the benefit of capitalism more equitably and allow individuals to realize their full potential.
A majority of people around the world say that they think their families will be worse off in 5 years. That's a scenario that we simply can't accept.
Too much wealth has accreted to too few people.
If you make money, what's the point if you're not prepared to share it? If the people who help make that wealth for you can't live with dignity?
It's inclusive capitalism, though, and we have to recognize that starting from where we are to where we need to get to, we need to bring everyone along, and there will be adjustments that come with that.
We do need the private sector's ingenuity, capital, technology, people, everything, their passion to come to the party.
We want to operate in a sustainable way, where incentives are aligned across generations, not just across quarters, and the main actors take a long-term perspective.
Aligning our innovation with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the priorities of inclusive capitalism is both a business and sustainability imperative.
Two reasons, I think, why I'd say concrete commitments to inclusive capitalism matter. I mean, the first, and not to be underestimated, really important, is they can inspire other people. And the second thing that I would say around concrete public commitments is they can help build trust.
Leaders in the business community can be a unifying force. They can be a source of opportunity. They can be a source of understanding. So we as business leaders can step up and solve many of these economic problems.
I think business plays
La disumanità del fenomeno a livello mondiale diventa ancora più grave e più scandalosa nella Chiesa, perché in contrasto con la sua autorità morale e la sua credibilità etica, il consacrato scelto da Dio per guidare le anime alla salvezza si lascia soggiogare dalla propria fragilità umana o dalla propria malattia, diventando così uno strumento di Satana. Negli abusi noi vediamo la mano del male che non risparmia neanche l'innocenza dei bambini.
Questo documento, io me lo sono letto parte per parte. Non c'è un nome, non c'è una data, non c'è un provvedimento concreto. Sono solo parole. Parole.
Although this is a very big step, an historic, monumental step, without action, without follow-through, without pressure, continuing pressure from us, it's all PR stuff.
Non ci sono spiegazioni sufficienti per questi abusi nei confronti dei bambini. Umilmente e coraggiosamente dobbiamo riconoscere che siamo davanti al mistero del male, che si accanisce contro i più deboli perché sono immagine di Gesù. Ecco perché nella Chiesa attualmente è cresciuta la consapevolezza di dover non solo cercare di arginare gli abusi gravissimi con misure disciplinari e processi civili e canonici, ma anche affrontare con decisione il fenomeno sia all'interno sia all'esterno della Chiesa. Essa si sente chiamata a combattere questo male che tocca il centro della sua missione, cioè annunciare il Vangelo ai piccoli e proteggerli dai lupi voraci.